Guys, so in this video, I want to focus more on the aspects of world government that I would like to see, and that my view of it would be, is that with religion, is that essentially religion was made to be, to help support the ideologies and to keep people in place so that they won't rise up against the higher ups, the aristocracy, and now the wealthier class, because the religion usually teaches us that there has to be a structure, and that essentially makes us also that we can't all be free and equal. So essentially there would not be really any religion, except like in communist regimes, it's kind of like the state religion. Like it would be world government, and it would be about how great it is, and like we talk about how the tragedies of history and what's happened in the past and how we should be thankful where we are now. But I also do think that people should not be forced into it. So to me, I think we should have a main center of location, and then on the outskirts, people can live there by themselves. But then again, they can't have any of the comforts because they're not in like kind of a state of nature. Like you choose to be in the state of nature, so then you wouldn't be able to be in live in a society where you get rights and you get pleasures from being in that society. So I believe that you should be able to, but then again, that I don't believe there should be any weapons at all, not even by police officers, because we should develop peaceful weapons like tasers or tranquilizers, so that no one has to get hurt and there can't be any violence, because there's not really any weapons made for that. And to just create a more peaceful society through education, and the only weapons we'd have are the exterior to keep the people safe inside, so the people who don't want to be in that society, they can't invade and steal stuff because they have no right, they don't want to be part of our society. So I believe that should be it. And I believe that language is suited to the culture, and different languages mean, like, we don't really have many words for water in English, but in some Native American languages, it's all about they have so many so many words for water. So I believe linguists or they should create a new language that inhabits the feelings of the culture and what people want to convey, and make it so that it's similar to the culture. Like how in English, for example, white is good and black is bad, because obviously English was made by white people. So I believe that we should create a new language to be inclusive of all people. And then again, if we teach people not to be prejudiced to others, we teach them how bad prejudice is, and to be equal, then it will be better. Because the problem is that if you want equity per se, then it just creates another type of imbalance. And if you want to have a more equal society, not based on who or what you are, but on what you do with your life, then that should never be a problem. I also believe culture, another problem is with so many varying cultures, people say, well, that creates a more lovely society, but in reality, like maybe ideologically, but in reality it doesn't, because it makes conflict, because all these cultures and societies do not co-align, and some laws go against some people's cultures. And some cultures are very against LGBT people, very anti-woman or very anti-man, or things like that. So it would have to be one culture. And the way in doing that is, of course, there would be historical sites and talking about cultures of the past, while saying how conflicting it made people, like how it made conflict. But it would just be one culture. So my view is also we would keep some historical sections, obviously, but mostly everything would be redone, and it would all be like exactly the same. Like these new ideas where transit and driving, it also creates an inequality because most people can't afford it, and again, it's not good for the environment. So I believe everything you need should be in like a 30-minute walk, like maybe one of those new instead of the wall like in Saudi Arabia, it's like a circle, so then everybody can be in like one area. Everybody has everything they need in their life and they don't really need to leave, and it just makes it easier to get in. Everything's more accessible because you're not worrying about greed. And with the rising population, we don't have room for these individual big houses where everyone would get like a similar house. And like I said before, maybe you can, if you move up in the world, maybe you can get a nicer house. But in that sense, it would be easier. And then traveling would be, because driverless cars are very difficult because you have pedestrians and other drivers that, well, people who actually drive the cars. So in that way, it would actually be a lot easier for driverless cars to go because there would be nowhere in the way. So if you need to get to another place, and also planes and everything, so that it still travel's not banned, but it's also like it's not as necessary to get certain things that you want. And I also believe one problem is that we are all so different, and that creates conflict. So I believe through genetic engineering and making sure everyone's raised the same way, like a universal raising, like I said before in my education video, it will create a more sense of unity. And by genetic engineering, everybody will be the same, and instead of having these differences, it would be better. Because I believe the way we are now isn't good at all. So I believe we should be a more androgynous. I believe humans should evolve to be androgynous because that helps get rid of the gender inequalities, and also because science has recently said that it's suspected. Of course, we can't confirm it till we actually do these things, which is a problem with ethics. Like, I don't really believe in ethics. I believe in a utilitarian version. So instead of just caring about one person, you should view that against many others. So I believe that we should experiment with those things and see if we can eliminate all these differences to have a more peaceful society. And also with space as well, I think we are meant to go into space and to make sure that humanity doesn't die off. I would like humanity to last millennia. So I believe that whenever we move to new locations, it's also been speculated that in sci-fi TV shows, everybody, then it creates strife like that because they have different societies. So I believe when we move to new societies, we should keep it exactly the same as it is here now, so it doesn't create strife, and so everyone's still equal. Of course, there might be some variations in making sure that people can still live in those areas. And also, like, I think Venus is the one where above, like, down below, it's all horrible, but it's clouds, and above it has a good atmosphere, so like floating houses and stuff. And going to Mars and everything, and hopefully we develop ways of terraforming so we can make it more Earth-like and have a more universal system to keep things equal. Okay.